In this video, we're going to see if Anthony Bennett, widely considered one of the NBA's biggest busts, could have had a decent career if his tools were used differently. Before jumping into this, I watched a lot of his NBA footage and figured out some weaknesses to either work on early or just to know how not to use him. His second bounce, like when he jumps to get a rebound or something and needs to jump right back up, is pretty bad, and he can't really jump in traffic. He's one of those guys who really needs a clear path to use his athleticism, which he did a lot of in college, and maybe that gave scouts a false impression of his skills. His shooting is inconsistent. He uses weird layup forms. It's like he often extends his arms and brings the ball above his head and then tries to finish with mostly wrist. It's just uncoordinated, but it worked well in college, I guess, because he could bully other big men, but not against athletic 7-footers in the NBA. My plan is this: we're dunking everything, otherwise it's a kick out, or at least until his finish becomes decent. In real life, he sometimes weirdly tended to fall into a 3-and-D role because his finish was so inconsistent, but that won't happen here. Maybe he could be like a stretch 4 with mid-range shots off the pick and pop or something, but he's mostly going to be banging down low, driving, crashing the offensive boards. He's a bit shorter than other people at his position, but his strength at 245 pounds and his 7'1" wingspan kind of make up for that. We're also going to make sure his attributes translate into buckets by making sure he's not shy to drive and finish in traffic. Okay, I should note that his first season, before I take over, he played 13 minutes, scored 4 points, 3 rebounds on pretty bad shooting percentage. So now his second season, that's when I take over, which is his first after being traded from the Cavs to Minnesota. He's starting the season at 70 overall and would finish with 7 points, which is a decent improvement, 3 rebounds, and insignificant numbers of assists and blocks. But this time he shoots 48% from the floor. He also gets selected to be in the Rising Star game, but his team doesn't make the playoffs. They end at 9th seed in the West. Alright, so the 2015-2016 season, that's his third in the league. He improved a lot. His overall is now at 77. He improved in most aspects, especially inside scoring. I made a few changes to his gear. He's got white knee pads when he's playing at home. He's wearing hyper dunks now and longer socks. I realized in a 4-out offense with Pekovic inside, he needs to learn how to drive. But he does a little bit of that, finishes with an even better season. So now he's playing 21 minutes, averaging 10 points, 4.7 rebounds, 0.2 assists, and 41% from the floor. Unfortunately, his team ends up last in the West with the 15th seed. Okay, so season 2016-17, that's his 4th in the league and also the contract year for his rookie contract. He's now an 81 overall starting the year. He made big jumps in his inside game and physical attributes, especially his quickness and strength. They're way above his position average, so I hope that translates. He's now starting some games here and there, and his young team seems on paper like it's getting pretty good. I just changed his layup animation to D-Wade's, and he ends the year with 24 minutes average, scoring 11.6 points, 5.5 rebounds, 0.2 assists, and 0.6 blocks. Again, shooting 41% from the floor. So he's steady improving every year so far. His 3-point percentage has been pretty awful, so I don't mention it. He's shooting 25% from the 3 for his career so far, but I'm not too worried because we don't really want him taking 3s anyways. Unfortunately, again, he finishes 15th in the West, so that could affect his free agent decision. We'll see. Alright, so he signed a 1-year qualifying offer for $10 million, which makes me think he's keeping his options open for next year. He's 24 now, getting into his prime soon, so that extra year could increase his value a lot. He's now at 84 overall with A+ inside scoring. I gave him some Nike Hyper Rev shoes, changed his shooting base, just gave him a bit less elevation. A lot of players, after a couple of years in the league, when they start to get comfortable, know where to get their shot off, they won't jump as high, right? So yeah, I'm still trying to make him, a Zion before Zion. So this year he has the best year so far, playing 32 minutes, 15 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 0.6 blocks, shooting 42% from the floor. One thing is also he fractures his leg late in the season, but the Timberwolves don't make the playoffs anyways as a 14th seed, so he'll heal before next season. Alright, so at the start of the 2018-2019 season, his 6th in the league, he re-signs with Minnesota for an insane 5-year, $87 million deal. And that was a few years ago, so by those standards, I think that's pretty close to a max deal. His overall is 85 now, but he's still recuperating from his leg injury at the start of the season. With his new contract, Nike gave him a Players Edition custom colorway for his Nike Hyper Revs, and he has a pretty good year. His output dipped a tiny bit, but he's very efficient still. Plays 30 minutes a game, 14 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 0.7 blocks on 44% shooting. Keep in mind, we suck so much the last couple of years that we got 3 top 10 draft picks in the last few years, and AB's competing with them for touches. So maybe that explains his output. We finished 11th in the West, which I honestly don't really get. We got prime Andrew Wiggins and Zach LaVine, plus all these lottery guys. The team overall is 83 right now, but whatever. Alright, so 2019-2020 season, his 7th year in the league. He's 26-year-old now. He's at an 87 overall, and we're really starting to see his full potential on display. A baby Zion kind of thing, like I said, which he probably should have been in real life. Similar stat line, 29 minutes, 14 points, 7.5 rebounds, 0.7 blocks, shooting 45% from the field. We finished 3rd in the West, first time making the playoffs this whole time, I think. But the problem is Wiggins tore his Achilles, so we lose to Dallas in the first round in a 7-game series. One thing that was weird is coach gives Thaddeus Young a lot of playing time over AB, which doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe he just wants some more shooting, but for now AB seems okay with it. Alright, so this is the 2020-2021 season. He's 27 years old now. His overall dipped a little bit to 85, and it's not a morale thing, so probably just injuries taking a toll. He averages 31 minutes per game, 8 points, 9 rebounds, which is a career high, and 52% field goal, which is also a career high, I think. So he's moving more into a big man role and doing it very efficiently. His team finishes with the 5th seed in the West, but another bad luck. He breaks his leg at the end of the season, so we went into the playoffs without him and without our starting point guard as well, who was also hurt, and lost to the Grizzlies in 5. We were just overmatched. Okay, so season 2021-2022, his overall still dipped. We're at 82 now, but that's understandable because of the broken leg at the end of last season and everything else. On paper, we're still supposed to be one of the best teams in the league. As AB loses mobility though, he becomes more of a traditional big man, playing 30 minutes per game. He averaged 7.5 points, career high 8 rebounds, 8.1, 0.7 blocks, 49% from the field. So he's still doing well, contributing a lot. We finished 4th in the West, and we beat New Orleans in the first round. Being matched up with Anthony Davis forced us into jump shots a lot, but thankfully we made them. We then narrowly get past the Suns in the second round, which was a really tough team, but then Zach LaVine gets hurt, and we get swept by the Kings in the conference finals. This takes us to season 2022-2023. His overall is now 78, but he's the only pure power forward on the team, so, playing time isn't really threatened. He ends the season with 27 minutes per game, Only 6 points this time, 7 rebounds, which is still good, 0.4 blocks, and shot 47% from the floor. So clearly he's on the decline, and this is the last year on his contract. He's clearly not worth the $20 million he's getting right now, but we'll see if he goes for a contender. My guess is because he's extremely loyal and the Wolves can go over the salary cap to sign him, he'll probably stay. And now with the 2023-2024 season, which brings us, close to the present, AB is 73 overall at 30 years old. He signed for another 4 years, $30 million contract with the Wolves, but will definitely be a role player, as the Wolves drafted an 80 overall rookie power forward out of UCLA with their 4th overall pick. We can see some footage. The guy is 6'10" with good inside defense, rebounding, and a high basketball IQ. I think I'll end the vid around here because, the team isn't on their way to a chip, and AB's impact will just continue to diminish going forward. I hope you enjoyed getting a different look at Anthony Bennett's career. Let me know who else you'd want to see in the comments if I make other vids like this, and just like and subscribe if you want to see more. Peace.